Well, what's up, YouTube? This is Chris. I'm fixing to split some wood this afternoon. Jace may stack some wood. It's getting dark. Had a long day already today, so I ain't gonna get much done. But I'm gonna split a little bit of wood and then maybe talk to you about what I see going on YouTube a lot. I see a lot of people wanting to buy new equipment, and do you really need that if you're in the tree work business? Do you really need to buy new equipment, or can you start out with used equipment? I'm gonna split a little wood up and then we'll talk about it. Been seeing a lot of stuff on Facebook channels and forums and groups and even on YouTube. I see a lot of guys buying new equipment. I mean, that's all I seem to, they just go out and purchase new equipment. And I'm just curious as to why that, you know, it's just, that's all they do. You know, even I mean, it seems to be like on the young guys, like, hey, just go out and get, you know, a brand new piece of equipment. It won't tear up. Well, yeah, I mean, some of it won't tear up, but some will. And, but you're paying, man, you're starting out in the hole if you're new at this game. I mean, if you're young and starting out and you're 24, you know, years old or 20 years old and you're trying to get into the business, I would start small, just like, you know, start out with a good used machine. You know, if you're doing stump grinding, $3,000 to $5,000, somewhere around there, maybe $8,000, and work up to it. Every time you get a little bit of money, you save up and you invest in a better machine. And you don't always have to have new. I mean, I've ran one all these years, about 13, 15 years with used equipment. And very seldom that I went and bought something brand new. And I get it right now. There's nothing, you know, it seems like there's nothing used out there for sale. And if anybody's wanting to sell it, they're jacking the price up. But, you know, we always go through changes. I mean, it was like that in 2008. I can remember telling a friend, an old guy, he's like, where are these people coming with all these jobs? Where are they going to work at? I said, oh, no, Mr. Reed, you know, no, man, they got jobs everywhere. And I think it was like a month, 2 months later, 2008, the recession hit. And you couldn't get no work. I mean, it was dead in the water, son. And then I remember trying to buy a stump grinder. I remember a dealer calling me one time and offered me ridiculous cheap price for his stump grinder because he could not sell it. He's like, man, it's a demo. It's got low hours on it. I mean, he was like $16,000 for this stump grinder, $18,000. It was ridiculous because they wasn't selling none at the time. And so if I'm starting out right now, it's just I've looked on there myself trying to buy some, you know, some little bit newer equipment or better, step up a notch. It's not out there, so I'm just waiting. I figure I just wait it out a little bit. And but if you go into debt and buy a bunch of equipment, and then we have another recession, you're just screwing yourself over or messing yourself up. It's just it's not very good or wise to do that. But you'll have people on there. I watch these YouTube channels, and these guys has got equipment out the wazoo. And you know, I mean, if you really look at the math and do the payments on it, they're not making no money. And then on top of that, they got labor and they got 4 or 5 guys that sit out there on a crew that they have to run every day. And then they got to jack the prices up. And right now the economy's booming. I mean, but soon as the it turns, and it will turn. I mean, it's always had. You had 1987, you had 2001, 2008, and we're past due for one. I mean, you know, I'm not speaking for bad will or bad for the economy, but I'm saying we're just, you know, you can't keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and expecting to come out, you know. You can't borrow yourself out of debt. You just can't do it. So, you know, you see you look around with gas prices, inflation like it is, things costing so much. I mean, it's getting to a point where I think it's going to eventually break it down. I mean, it's going to break the economy. So, or it might not, you know, like a 1929 recession, or, you know, or whatever like that, but it's going to pull back some. I mean, it's just a matter of time. So, but if you're young at it, I would save up and pay cash and run a debt-free business if you can. I mean, if you can run a debt-free business and stay out of debt, that is the best way to operate. And then because you're gonna have highs and lows. I mean, you know, if you're into any kind of business, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it's like a roller coaster. You're up and down. You're just, and it runs through a cycle. You know, the winter time is dead, then the spring hits and you're wide open. You got more than you can do. But if you're new to the game, man, it's hard. It takes you a while. They always say if you can last the first, I think it's the third or fourth year, you'll be all right and you'll make it. Well, it's tough. I mean, I remember when I started out that I'd literally go from one job to the next for a long time before I built up enough clientele that I could pick and choose the jobs I want. And like now, we just pick and choose. We just do, you know, we're the old school or the old crew. We just do easy jobs. I mean, you go out, you ain't gonna see us climbing a tree, you ain't gonna see us doing that, but we pick and choose the jobs that we do. And but when you're starting out young, you'll do anything. You'll do any job that comes along. You'll do anything. I used to have 2 crews and run daylight to dark every day. And I started out with a truck and a trailer, and I see these guys have all this equipment, and I started out with a truck and a trailer. And what I would do when I first started out, I would run ads on Craigslist for free wood, and I'd have people lined up on my job site with a truck and a trailer and get wood. And and you weed out the ones that don't show up. You weed out, you know, finally you end up having a group of guys that run with you. You know, they'll show up every week. They sell firewood or you know, stuff like that. They'll show up. So if you called somebody, you had a load of hickory, pecan, cherry, good oak, white oak, anything that is good, you know, real great, like them kind of hardwoods, you know, I'd pick the phone up and call them, and they would show up. And all I'd have to do is haul brush. So I hauled brush for probably 5 years with a truck and a trailer, 16-foot trailer, pulling it behind a 88 Toyota pickup truck. Then I ended up buying this skid steer. I saved up, I think it was like 22,000, 18,000, 22,000, something like that. And I paid cash for it, saved up, and I had it with pallet forks where I can unload the trailer. And then you know, that made it a little bit more efficient. Then the next thing, you know, you saved up and bought a chipper, and then you got a chipper truck, and then you got, you know, it just snowballs. But if you do it and you can stay out of debt, that's the best way to do it. And then you ain't got, and if something happens, you ain't got to, all you have to do is worry about your light bill, you know, your basic necessities, and you'll be all right. And always, and if you're young, if you're always, and you're young and you're starting out, and if you can save 10% or 5% of whatever money you make, put it away. No matter what, put it away, and you save your money, and then when that rainy day comes, you don't have to worry about it no more. But anyway, hey guys, thanks for tuning into the channel. Thanks for watching the videos, and if you like them, hit the like button and subscribe button. And me and Jace, hold on, me and Jace, we'll see you on the next one.